What's good, guys? This is going to be your ultimate guide for crafting in Dragon's Dogma 2. If you want to skip to a certain part of the video, of course you can check the chapter list down below. But in today's video, I'm going to feature different items you can combine together to make some extremely rare and valuable materials. I'm going to show you a bunch of things that you can't actually craft in a game, but how you can go about getting extra of them. I'm going to show you some farming spots that I use to get some of the rarest items in the game. And towards the end of the video, I have a special item that you can actually create in this game, duplicate it legally in game using game mechanics, and if you get lucky enough and mix it with something else, you might just make a little bit of money. So stick around if you want to find out what that is. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So first things first, what is crafting? Crafting in Dragon's Dogma is a little bit different than it is in other RPGs. In this game, you don't have a crafting bench. You could just jump into your inventory and take two items and mix them together. And that's basically it. From then on, you can actually just slap two items together and combine them and make some amazing things. And you can start experimenting right now, so you don't even need the rest of this video. But if you want to learn some different ways to farm, some pretty awesome places that I get some of my rarest items, then stay locked in right there. Moving forward, now that you know how to craft, let's talk about the levels to it. So there's different items in the game like fruits, leaves, tails, skins, and so on. These items can be mixed together to make pretty amazing concoctions, as well as droughts to heal you, and roborants. Roborants are considered to be a healing item in the game that are way better than the base version of the item that you use to combine together. For example, if you pick up an apple, you can eat that apple and it'll heal you for a little bit of health. But if you take that apple and combine it with a green warish, then it's going to make you a Celebrous Drought. That is going to heal you a lot more than the item would have if you just ate it the way that it was. So let's take that even a step forward. A roborant is a higher tiered version of the healing item that you probably want. If you're running out of stamina or health a lot, then you want to make roborants in order to get your health back or stamina back as fast as possible. Now, in order to really get the most out of creating different items in the game, you might want to unlock the Trickster class. The Trickster class actually has its own augment built into its kit that will allow you to create more of a certain item when you combine them together. In other words, when you try to craft an item in the game, if you have this augment equipped to your character, then you have a chance of making even more of that item in question. Pretty cool. Now let's talk about the levels. There's different levels to roborants or items that you may want to make in the game. There's the regular roborant, like a fruit roborant or a roe roborant. Then there's the fine roborants. There's exquisite roborants, and then there's the highest tier, which is miracle roborant. In order to make miracle roborants, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you straight. You're gonna need to fight some of the most annoying enemies out there, the saurians. You're going to need to slice the saurians' tails off in order to make some of the most powerful items in the game. But good news is there's a whole bunch of saurians right outside of Vernsworth and Har Village. As a matter of fact, when you head over to Har Village for the first time, you're going to be fighting a bunch of saurians. So you might have a chance to collect a whole bunch of saurian tails when you're fighting them. You have to cut the tails off in order to collect this item from them, so be mindful of that. Some of the easiest ways to collect these tails off of these creatures is actually going to be using the electric boon as well as some type of slashing item. The best class for this is, of course, the thief. The thief is king when it comes to slashing things off. I main the Mystic Spearhand, and it also does a pretty good job of slicing things off, but the thief is one of the best. Not the only one, of course. Warriors and fighters can also slice things off pretty easily, but the thief does it very, very well. Now that you know how to make some of the most powerful items in the game, you're pretty much good to go. You can actually go right outside of Har Village and collect yourself a whole bunch of Saurian tails so that you can start making some of the more powerful items in the game. You can also go to the shoreline outside of Har Village to collect some of the rarest fish in the game. There is shore fish and there's tide swimmers. The tide swimmers are the variant that you want. If you have a tide swimmer and you allow it to age to the next level, which means that you basically rested for about 3 to 4 days, the name of it will change to aged tide swimmer. When that happens, you're going to want to take 2 of these together and you're going to be able to make an exquisite dried fish. When you make exquisite dried fish, you're going to be able to combine and make some of the more powerful healing items in Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, if you don't want to get spoiled on all the different combinations of items and you just want to figure it out on your own, be my guest. That is probably some of the most fun that you're actually going to have in the game, and I don't want to take that from you. So if that's all you needed from this video, I hope this helped you out and gave you a little bit more insight on what you need to do when it comes to combining items together to craft. Before you leave, I would really appreciate it if you smash that like button and sub to the channel so that you don't miss out on more Dragon's Dogma 2 content coming in the future. Just before you leave though, there are a pair of some amazing daggers right over here in the ancient battleground area. If you don't want to know anything else but that and you want to find them on your own, then good luck. They're definitely over there. If you would actually want to know exactly where they are, I'll give you that spoiler right now. So they're right here on the map. If you go inside of this cave, go to the back, there's going to be a chest, and boom, you have your daggers. These are going to be some of the most powerful daggers in the game because they have the lightning element infused on it at all times. It's completely broken. You're going to need to use these daggers in order to cut off the tails of Saurians, and these daggers make it trivial. Super easy. With those daggers, go out and get yourself some Saurian tails and go ahead and make yourself some of the strongest items ever. Good luck. For everybody else that would like to know a bunch of different recipes or some places to start in experimenting, the rest of the video is for you. You can take any ripened fruit and mix them together to make dried fruit. You can take syrup wart leaf or green warish and mix those together with any fruit in the game, and you can make yourself a salubrious drought. In order to make lantern oil, all you need to do is take the rotten items in your inventory and mix them together. To make a bunch of flowers, which is one of the most sought after items in the game because it raises affinity with the NPCs, you need to take a sunbloom and a moonglow. Moonglows can be found at night and sunblooms can be found during the day. There are a whole bunch of sunblooms actually in Batal, as well as there's some sunblooms on the route going towards our village. So go ahead and collect as many of these as you possibly can. Moonglow can only be found at night, so be mindful of that. And it should be glowing in the nighttime for you to be able to see it. Har spud roborants are created by mixing dried spud and green warish. If you consume this, it's going to recover your stamina a whole lot better than the base versions. The fine fruit roborant can be created with nomad's dried fruit and green warish. Now, in order to make a nomad's dried fruit, you're going to need to take a fruit from your world and mix it from a fruit from a friend's world. So if you're sending your pawns out and they come back with fruits, you can take those fruits and mix them with other fruits and make yourself some nomad dried fruit. Fine hard spud roborants can be created from exquisite dried spuds and morning tides. Exquisite dried meat can be created from aged beefsteak. You can actually make your own Newt Liquor in the game, one of the rarest items ever, because there is an NPC out there that needs this in order for you to unlock a certain vocation. So if you take a Saurian's tail and some fruit wine, boom, you just made yourself Newt Liquor and you saved yourself a lot of money. So try not to forget that recipe. The Miracle Roborant can be created with fine roe roborant and Saurian's tails, or fine Harspud roborants and Saurian's tails. There's so many more combinations than what I have here. If you're interested in all the different combinations, go ahead and try some things out. To make tarring arrows, all you need to do is have withered branches and lantern oil. To make drenching arrows, you're going to need to have withered branches and sirupwort leaf. To make explosive arrows, you're going to need to have withered branches and a sunbloom. And of course, for blighting arrows, you're going to need poison pinion and some withered branches. Let's talk about some items that can't actually be crafted together, but you can forge them and make more of them. First things first, we'll go to the most broken item ever, and that is the Elite's Camping Pack. You can actually forge this, and it doesn't forge it, but it duplicates it. There's so many other items in the game that when you try to forge them, they turn into variants that you can't use. For example, the Fair E stone with an I, or the Part Crystal with an A. Yeah, these things are not going to get you anywhere. But if you actually take a Elite camping kit and you give it to this guy over here in the Checkpoint Rest Town, he's going to give you another Elite camping kit. So that's one of the fastest and easiest ways for you to get one of the rarest items in the game. Number one, it's extremely light, so it's easy to carry around. And two, it's less likely to break even if you are attacked at nighttime, which can come in clutch so that you don't waste your camping kit every time you get attacked when you're farming or doing something in the game. You can also make this even better if you have the Trickster class. Tricksters also have the ability to make it less likely that you are attacked when you're on an ox cart or camping. Let's talk about aging items. So when you have a whole bunch of items in your inventory, you might want to age them forward in time. Sleeping about 3 or 4 days or resting on a bench for 3 or 4 days will usually age the item forward so that you can do something with it. Be careful, some items age a lot faster than others, and other items take a while. So experimenting and figuring out how long each item takes is a little bit of the fun of it. Another pretty insane item that you can actually recreate in this game is a spoiler item. So before I go forward, if you don't want to hear about this last part, then I really appreciate you sticking around the video this long. Smash that like button for me and sub to the channel so that you don't miss out on more Dragon's Dogma content coming in the future. But if you're still here, let's get into it. So you can actually go to the Sphinx. And when you go to the Sphinx and you clean all of her riddles out and do everything that you can for her, you're going to want to fight her. In order to take the Sphinx out, all you have to do is hit her from the back or in her wings. Once you finally take out the Sphinx, then she's going to give you a key. Use that key to get yourself an Eternal Wake Stone. You can take the Eternal Wake Stone, bring it back to the forger, and he'll forge it for you. But it won't be a forgery. It'll actually be the real Eternal Wake Stone. Congratulations, you can now use this item to revive an entire village if something goes wrong in your playthrough. Some materials and crafting items can actually be bought from different merchants that wander around in the world, and you can actually age different items forward by resting on a bench or sleeping at an inn or at your house. Other rare items can also possibly be gifted from NPCs in the game. So if you give a bunch of flowers and you get your affinity up with a bunch of different NPCs, occasionally you may receive red wine or other rare items from NPCs at your house bag in front of your house. You could actually forge fruit wine at Abraham's shop. And when you forge it, it will make you another fruit wine. So basically it duplicates it. The forgery will cost you 1,600 gold. Now, if you take fruit wine and combine that with a Saurian's tail, you make Newt Liquor. Newt Liquor sells for 1,500 gold. However, if you've also unlocked the Trickster class and you have the Augment Enlightenment, then you have a chance to create one more of a resulting product when combining materials. What that means is, when you're crafting something in the game, you have a chance to make an extra of whatever you're crafting. So, if you're lucky enough and you go to craft your fruit wine with the Saurian's tail, you could possibly get 2 Newt Liquors as a result. So you're making money through forgery and combining materials together. That's pretty insane. Of course, this is all RNG based. There are ways to exploit that, which I'll let you figure that out on your own. I'm not interested in that. But hey, this is one way you can make a little bit of money through RNG and Trickster while forging and combining materials. If you like what we do here on the channel, make sure you smash that like button for me. And sub to the channel so that you don't miss out on so much more tips, tricks, guides, and a lot for Dragon's Dogma 2. This was your boy M of M Sensei's D. For now, I'm out of here.